Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Tom Johnson begins now.
Good evening. A major marine investigation is underway into what caused a commercial cement carrier to crash into 2 tugboats in Devonport. But the immediate focus is containing the oil spill, with both vessels submerged.
He has lost the ship.
The Goliath bulk carrier smashes head-on into 2 side-by-side tugboats. Narrowly avoiding a 3rd tug berthed at the port yesterday. Fortunately, no crew members were on board. The immediate concern is the oil spill, with the 2 vessels containing a combined 60,000 litres of fuel.
We had a boom immediately in place to contain the spill, and then within 45 minutes we had the much larger boom and brought the oil spill under control.
We don't know the full extent yet, but we believe that the response has resulted in the majority of the oil that's been released from the vessels when they were impacted not entering the environment.
The damage bill is expected to be in the millions. An expert salvage contractor will be flown in from New South Wales to help with the clean-up.
Sometime this week they'll take over the site and take on the salvage operation, which includes recovering any more of the fuel that might still be in the tanks, and then planning for the recovery of the vessels from the bottom of the river floor.
Ports does expect some disruptions to shipping operations in the coming weeks, but says Spirit of Tasmania and Sea Road freight trips are occurring as normal. Locals and their pets are being urged to avoid all contact with water in the Mersey River.
We have some shoreline assessment going on the coastline and in the river. We're also looking at further in the Mersey into the up around almost to Latrobe, and we have some wildlife assessment going on.
3 specialist marine investigators from the Australian Transport Safety Bureau have arrived in the state to gather evidence and interview witnesses, with an interim report into the incidents expected within 8 weeks.
We'll look at the actual movement of the vessel, we'll look at the maintenance of the vessel, we'll look at the engineering state of the vessel, but equally human elements as well. So we're very focused on making sure that we can learn any lessons from this particular incident that are perhaps more applicable across all of the ports in Australia.
LETITIA Wallace, 7 Tasmania News.
There's been no new COVID deaths in Tasmania overnight, as the state recorded 683 new infections. The number of active cases has now fallen below 5,000. 2 people being treated for COVID in hospital have also been discharged. The hot property market in Hobart is only just getting started, according to new data which shows home values could soar up to 12% higher this year. It would see a typical home in the waterfront city grow by more than $90,000. The Outlook report forecasts Hobart to lead the nation in growth due to heightened demand coupled with a lack of available property. Hundreds of junior surf lifesavers have pulled on their caps for Tasmania's statewide carnival at Clifton Beach today. There was no shortage of talent, as many eye off a transition to the elite level in the coming years.
They're no stranger to the rough conditions of the ocean. These 13-year-olds already have close to 8 years of experience on the waves.
I saw an article in the newspaper and I was like, oh, I don't really like little athletics that much. So I decided to do nippers instead.
It's really physical. It contains lots of parts of your body, and you've got lots of choices in what you want to do.
Suiting up for the Tasmanian statewide carnival at Clifton Beach, competition day had them dreaming big.
It's definitely one of the up there bucket list things to do. Go to the Nutri-Green Ironman series.
I want to go to the Aussies when I'm older and get a medal in that.
More than 10 surf clubs travelled south for the event to battle it out in surf sports and land races.
Broad relays, Cameron relay, ocean swims, Ironman events as well. So that'll across the age groups from under 8 right up to under 14s.
Just the ocean, the waves, the community, everything. It's the best sport in the world.
All while focusing on valuable lifelong skills.
Importantly, if they get into trouble, they know what to do, and as they get older, they transfer those skills in becoming lifesavers and they move into patrols.
This is the second of 5 carnivals that will be held across the state in the coming months, with all the action continuing tomorrow for the senior competition.
A lot of these competitors tomorrow will be starting to hone the skills ready for the Australian titles that are coming up later in the year.
This cohort of juniors watching on closely.
Clifton Beach has a very rich history in developing their younger kids into Australian champions.
Grace Evans, 7 Tasmania News.
Launceston's 50-metre competition pool has been named after homegrown swimming star Ariane Titmus. The Tasmanian-born Olympic gold medalist used to train in the pool as a youngster before making the move to Queensland. A mural of Ariane was also unveiled at the Aquatic Centre. Tasmanian landcare groups and conservation volunteers are calling on the community to think about the environment on their doorstep ahead of World Wetlands Day. A number of events across the state are aiming to showcase the importance of wetlands on climate change and their ability to store carbon. This artificially created waterway in Lauderdale is part of the important work being celebrated.
It's basically a call to action for everyone to just come and learn about wetlands, care about them, just see what's going on at your local wetland, just because over time they're slowly degrading. So the more attention we can bring to them, the better.
Wildlife has begun to return to the area in what's being deemed a success after close to 20 years of work. The education sessions will roll into tomorrow along the River Derwent. An emotional Scott Roth has praised the Jack Jumpers' resilience after their 5-point come-from-behind win over Adelaide last night. After a slow start, the side surged home with a 24-point final quarter in front of a packed home crowd.
It's early days for the Jack Jumpers, but last night's win was one to remember for fans and Scott Roth.
And Scott Roth loves it. Have a look at him. Grit, compassion for each other, and our fans were fantastic. Yeah, I love it.
In just their second game since January 2, Tasmania's team was keen to entertain.
Jet just lobs it up to Magnay!
But the Jack Jumpers' scoring woes were on show early. The 36ers clinical at the other end, leading by 9 at quarter time.
Goes away for it, now it's Dusty Hannahs from Kmart. Nothing but net.
The margin growing to double digits in the second, before the home side begun their fight back.
Adams just inside the 3-point line, nothing but net. Adams straight on 3, got it!
The third period low scoring but intense. A fired up Josh Adams drew the Jack Jumpers level, but Adelaide always seemed to have an answer.
Somehow springs free and it ends up in the hands of Dusty Hannahs.
The final term, however, was one to savour. Down by 8, Tasmania surged offensively.
It did look like there's Majet for 3, nothing but net.
And defensively, closing down the 36ers around the net. Josh Maggett also running hot.
Continues it, and the Jack Jumpers have the lead.
Adams was nailing points from the line, but Adelaide found ways to keep in touch. The import cooling the chaos, again hitting free throws to seal an important win. The coach praising his side's rebound game.
Our defense has been there through thick and thin, and it showed up in the fourth quarter and basically in the second half.
John Hunt, 7 Tasmania News.
Tasmania's best cyclists have competed in Launceston for a chance at representing the state. 30 cyclists raced around the Silverdome as part of the Tasmanian Track Championship. The event doubles as the selection process for the national titles, which will be held in Brisbane in March.
In a few of the age brackets, there's some really strong competition and strong competition for spots. So it's really imperative that the riders give their best efforts today to push their cases forward.
The final team will be selected in the coming days. Meanwhile, cycling star Richie Porte has been denied a fairy tale finish at the Festival of Cycling in Adelaide. Racing up the infamous Wollonga Hill for the final time, Porte finished 10th in his ascent. Porte earned the nickname King of Wollonga from locals after winning the testing climb 7 times. Despite today's result, he says he managed to soak it all in.
In some ways a blessing in disguise that the race was up the road. I was able to sit back and just enjoy myself a little bit more, and it was fantastic coming up the climb for the last time.
Victorian Angus Lyons took out the stage, while James Whelan was crowned the overall winner. In the Girls NAB League, the Tasmanian Devils have notched up their first win of the season with a dominant display against the Western Jets. The home side started strong at Prospect Park, overwhelming their opponents with a 6-1 first half. The Jets had a better second term, but the margin was too big to overcome. The Devils running away winners by 31 points. Bella Parker, Tanisha Kickoke and Georgia Clark starring for Tasmania with 2 goals each.
Good evening. 28 was the state's top today in Launceston, 23 across Burnie and Devonport, and Hobart 20. Lowhead 24, 23 in Strawn and 20 in Lyowini. On the close-up shows mid to low-level cloud over most of Tasmania. Further out, mid to high-level cloud with embedded thunderstorms is seen crossing New South Wales. Tomorrow shows a ridge of high pressure to the south of Tasmania while a trough extends into Queensland. East to south-easterly winds tomorrow 10 to 20 knots, swells up to 3 metres in the west and south and below 1 metre in the north. A strong wind warning is current for the central north coast, Banks Strait, Franklin Sound and Flinders Island. Tomorrow's forecast now, partly cloudy across Hobart and Ouse, Richmond 26. In the north, Launceston reaching 30, mostly sunny about Devonport and Deloraine. Burnie and Strawn tomorrow 24, partly cloudy in Curry. A possible morning shower in St Helens, Swansea 20 and cloudy in Whitemark. The UV forecast is reaching extreme 11s across the state. Looking ahead to the 3-day forecast now, Monday, fine apart from possible showers about the northeast. Tuesday, showers about the west and north. And Wednesday, showers about the west and south, mostly fine elsewhere. Capital cities 36 and mostly sunny in Perth tomorrow. Sydney, partly cloudy and 28 in Melbourne. And currently Hobart 18 and mostly cloudy, Launceston 24 and Devonport 21 and partly cloudy. That's all in weather tonight, Tom.
Some nice weather around the state. Thank you very much for that, Jackie. That's all from us this Saturday evening. Enjoy your night.